Welcome back, conscious creators, to week 7 of the Christos Chronicles. I am Christos, and today we will be discussing the life and death of a creative. Now, on my journey of creativity, or creative expression, I should say, it's really been filled with ups and downs. And that's something that I think that a lot of people overlook when it comes to creativity, is that creativity is only going to be used in the moments of happiness and joy. But I think when you really see some of the most beautiful things that we have as human beings, they were created in moments of darkness, moments of solitude, moments of isolation, moments of depression or sadness. And I'm not insinuating that anything that is great has to be created under these terms and conditions. But what I am insinuating is that creativity is not just rooted and found in our joyful or joyous moments. It's also found in our moments of vulnerability. And it's honestly in those moments where we are our most authentic selves, when we are most vulnerable. And this is where creativity shines, when we allow ourselves to be in tune with our emotions wholeheartedly. So today, that's really what we're going to touch up on, is the life and death of a creative in every season. What are the obstacles that we face as creatives and how we overcome them, and how do we, just have more of a balance to our creative approach in life. So let's start with the gift of creativity. Now, I think it's essential that we understand where creativity comes from. And the reason why I say this is because there is a lack of creativity in the world. And the reason being is because the average individual does not know where their creativity stems from. Now, when I started my spiritual journey, a book that really assisted me in understanding where my creativity was uprooted from was a book called The Artist's Way. Now, many artists, poets, many well-renowned people who are professionals, beginners in their craft, all use this book whenever they feel they need direction, or even at moments where they feel like they need to be recalibrated. The Artist's Way is a great book to start, and I'm speaking from my own experience as well. And I would say that because I got The Artist's Way, or I started reading The Artist's Way when I was about 19, 20 years old. So this was my introduction to really just having more questions about who I was as an individual, what my connection was, to God, source, etc. And from me reading The Artist's Way, that revelation came to me through understanding creativity. Creativity is our connection to the source, the divine, the creator. And this is why the Bible also insinuates in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He didn't generate, or she didn't generate. It was something that was created. So this goes to show you the power of creativity. Creativity has no limitations. When we fully tap into our imagination, the sky really becomes the basement. So this is why we have to understand the gift of creativity. Creativity is a gift from our creator, a gift from God. So that's something that, we need to be more mindful of, hold dear to our hearts, is our ability to create. And the reason being is because our creativity is something that is stripped from us the moment that we enter the matrix and we start going to schools and entering these institutions and systems, is to diminish our individuality, which is our creativity. So that is the gift of creativity. But let's also touch on the curse of creativity. And me being a person that I feel like is hyper creative, I think that I suffer from the curse of creativity at times. And to me, the curse of creativity is an overload of ideas. Sometimes creative people can have a plethora of ideas, a plethora of just things that they want to accomplish in a lifetime. But we know that, creativity is just the seed. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to actually become a fruit. It's up to us to actually nourish our ideas so they can become fruit. So that's something that I had to learn over time, was to not just throw away my creativity and really be able to utilize my creativity for creating my reality, what I want to experience in life. It can all come from my ability to create. And creativity, like as I said, it has no limitations. So that's really what I want to talk about today, guys, is our creativity. And I know I didn't really touch up as much on the curse of creativity, but our curse of creativity comes from not being able to focus on our endeavors, things that we create, things that we put out into the world. So then our focus gets scattered into many different things. And this ultimately becomes a curse for the creative. So now that we got that out the way, the gift and the curse of creativity, let's just dive a little bit more deeper into what creativity is and the cycles of creativity. So I like to break everything up in threes. It just helps me think a little bit more better. But first, we're just going to talk about the cycles of creatives. Every creative starts out with ideas. These ideas turn into a form of passion. Now, we all are passionate about something. Hopefully we are. And this is really just the allspark. This is really to get your juices flowing. And this is common. We can have these daily. We can have them weekly. We can have them monthly. But we have to be mindful of our ideas and not, as I said before, not have so many ideas that we can't focus on the things that, matter the most in the moment. So first is ideas. The second cycle is disappointment, which equals pain. Now, a lot of times when we have these ideas, we have to experience failures. Everybody has to fail along the journey. It's a part of the journey. If you don't fail, then I don't think that you're on a journey that is involving success. Anybody that's successful is going to tell you that they failed somewhere along the journey. But failure is just temporary disappointment. So if you cannot handle temporary failure or disappointment, then I don't think that you're really going to be able to see a lot of things in your life come into fruition, because you have to be willing to deal with disappointment, which is pain. And a lot of people can't handle pain. So this is why a lot of people run from pain. This is why a lot of people don't go to the gym. This is why people avoid hard conversations, is because a lot of people don't like disappointment. Disappointment and pain go hand in hand. So that's our second cycle. Our third cycle is apathy, which equals hopelessness. Now, apathy is something that I've been experiencing probably on and off since about 2023, 2024. And it's real. It's not something that I can say that everyone is going to go through, but I think that a lot of people who are deeply creative and find joy in things they create, a lot of us go through what is known as apathy. And apathy, it comes in many different shapes, forms, and sizes, but to sum it up, apathy is a sense of indifference. I like to tie it more towards like hopelessness, in a way where it's like a person who is apathetic really doesn't see a future in anything. Not necessarily that they lose hope in their idea actually getting notarized or anything of that nature, but more so just losing hope in the purpose of what it is that they're doing. So if they were creating something to help humanity in an area that they struggle, they may now have lost hope in that aspiration. So that's what I mean by apathy and hopelessness being tied together. So this is really the life and death cycle of a creative. This is a cycle that we all go through. We have ideas. Those ideas make us passionate. Then from those ideas, we run into walls of disappointment. Those disappointments create pain points that we have to overcome. That in turns, if we do not overcome those pain points, turns into a form of apathy. We lose hope. And then that life cycle can start all over. We can get the passion spark again. We can have a new idea to approach the problem or the pain point that we had before. So this is just a reoccurring cycle, guys. It's the life and death of the creative. Nothing is permanent. It's a revolving door. And I think that when we understand this, we approach creativity from a different lens. We don't approach creativity as just linear. Creativity can be in anything that we do, anything that we choose to allow it to come forth through. So that's what we really need to understand about creativity. And every season represents death or a rebirth cycle. So you may be going through a season of you're dying to certain aspects of yourself. You're getting more inspiration. You're getting more insight, more ideas on whatever it is that you're trying to bring into this reality. So we have to understand and respect every season. That's something that I've been having to learn about my own creative cycles, is that not every season is a season of production. Some season is a season of introspection. You really need to think about your approach, what it is that people may want from you, and what do you feel called to actually deliver. So that's just, something that we need to just be more aware of on our creative endeavors. And we also just need to start creating more from our intuition. This is something that I've been leaning more towards and feeling more of a conviction of, is creating from my intuition and not from expectation or what I feel like people want from me, but actually creating from what I feel I need to say and what the universe is calling me to say. And I think that, it's more harmonious to me when I feel like I create from my intuition opposed to what I feel like people want from me. Is because when I do it from my intuition, then I know that it resonates with more people than me just creating from what I feel as though people want from me. So I really just encourage you guys to really lean more in towards what you're passionate about. That's really what's going to keep you going in any endeavor. Like, no matter what, if you're passionate about it, whether you're getting paid, whether you're not getting paid, just do what you're passionate about, because that's going to change. You may be passionate about something this week, this month, this year, and it may not be the same next year, but whatever that passion finds itself in, do whatever it is that you're passionate about, that brings you joy, that brings you peace, and follow that. And also share the lessons from your pain. Don't just share your victories. Also share lessons from your pain. How has some of the things in your life molded you into the person that you are? How have they inspired you to become the person that you are today? And really incorporate your story in whatever it is that you're doing, because that's what we relate to as human beings. We relate to other people's story. And last but not least is escape the mental prison of apathy. Now, I know that this is not easy to do. If you are a person that battles with apathy like me, then you have to escape the mental prison of apathy. And the only way to do that is to just be productive, even in those moments where you're saying that, I don't think that this is beneficial to anybody. I don't think that, my point is getting across. Whatever you may feel internally in your mind that's replaying itself, overcome that and just continue to create, continue to keep going. The moment you quit is the moment that you are defeated. But the only way to escape the mental prison of apathy is to continue to keep going. It's temporary. It doesn't last forever, but keep going, because you'll have something to look back at even in those moments and say, man, I survived those moments of apathy, depression, or isolation, whatever it may have been. But if you are a creative, I'm pretty sure you can resonate with some of these things that I've shared today. And if so, please feel free to share anything that has helped you along your creative adventure. But that concludes today's Christos Chronicles. You guys know I love to give you a piece of my mind, my thoughts, and, just things that I'm going through. But, until the next time, I love you guys. Wholeness.